Hello and welcome to The Unspoken, a platform for the advocacy on health and social issues in the uncomfortable conversations using people's personal stories. And today, we're going to talk about people pleasing and being a nice guy. Joining us in this conversation is Derek Were.
My name is Derek Were. I am a mental health advocate, a counseling psychologist. I am passionate about mental health, specifically of young people. It's something I do for life, and I generally love spending time reading and also observing. The fact that I'm in the mental space, I enjoy observing things, people, and being at home cooking and enjoying time with my friends, just quality time that we can bond and share what we know about life. What pushed me into mental health advocacy is out of my own challenges. Nimeteseka na character development kwa life yangu. After high school bana, relationship inakupiga character development, najipata kila time ni Matthias, to the point ilinipush hadi I was suicidal. Attempt suicide 2 times. The first one I actually attempted it. Nikajiumiza, I ended up injuring my hand. The second time ilikuwa tu under ideation. I never came to that fulfillment. So hiyo time ya COVID, things became even crazy for me. Nikacheki nikienda hivi, there's only one option for me, maybe to take my life. So I think from there nikaanza kurealize I need to start gaining the courage. Nilikuwa naogopa kuongelesha wasee. I need to get the courage to speak to people about the kind of troubles and the issues I'm going through, because I was coming from a point of I was pleasing people and I was hurting inside. I was that one person when I will be with you and I make you guys feel happy, enjoy the time, but I was hurting inside. So that was my turning point. Nikaona this is now the time for me to get a professional help so that I can be able to get out of my situation. That journey has been a good journey. One thing, I got good help, that is professional help, people who are ready and committed to help me. When I was beginning to heal, I used to be uncomfortable. I remember I could tell my friends by there, niko na depression, and they laugh at me because they're like, Derek, you like joking a lot, because you're not that person who, you can't tell us about depression that you're in depression. And then, that time ilikuwa bado, people are not so conversant with depression, and it had not hit as it has hit right now. So by good luck, by the grace of God, I got the right people who helped me, walked with me. We kept on talking about the same thing in Nikiambia. By there, I'm finding challenges. Slowly, I was moving away from people pleasing. I was starting to focus on my inner self, starting to think about my life and how I can be able to find excitement and joy and happiness within my space. Nakumbuka the first time nilijipeleka out kukula, it was one of the biggest achievements, and it was very emotional because I was like, this is something I've never done. I used to enjoy doing things with the people. Unless they were happy, I could not be happy. Unless unless I'm spending money on you, I wouldn't be happy. So this was another new journey that was teaching me it's just time to focus on myself, not to be selfish per se, but it is just time to be able to receive support from other people, and also to see the beautiful things that can come from within that I can also give the world, but in due time. People pleasing is not something that you desire, or somebody wakes up and wants to be a people pleaser. These are patterns you acquire from childhood. That, for example, in my case, when I was young, I used to do exceedingly well as a young kid, playing with other boys. Will it be football? Tulikuwa nacheza banyo. So I will defeat other kids. So whenever I will defeat them, they will come to report me to my mom. And my mom will be like, because she didn't want trouble with people, she will take the banyo, I think you know banyos, and give them back. Or anytime people will come and report me, in as much as I had done the right thing, they will always come and report me. And my mother used to make us feel like, don't fight with people. If that is what they want, you keep on giving them. So I grew up with a mentality, it's about other people. And I grew up with a mentality, I'm always inferior than them. When I joined football and I was exceedingly playing well, I was bullied while playing football. And so I always thought maybe it is not always about me, it's about other people. So my life, the better part of it, even when I was struggling with depression, when I was struggling with suicidal thoughts, it was birthed from the time I was a kid, that it is about other people. When I'm going to work, I need to go to work where people are going to let me work for them, to please them, not necessarily that I can shine. Anytime I get an opportunity or a spotlight where people are making me to be seen, I used to try my best to get off, to have a conversation with people. They will share their story, how you are, how life has been for you. But when ingefika point yangu wananiambia, now Derek, tell us more about yourself, I will always cut off that conversation from that point. I tried everything so that people don't know much about me. They don't know about my tribe. They just don't have any information about who I am. But I will do anything to make them happy. So I used to seal a lot of information because I knew if this information I'm going to conceal it to them, they're likely to walk out of my life, and I'm likely to be the one at the losing end. So for me, pleasing was part of my life, and I never saw it as people pleasing until I'm getting a professional help to realize you are actually hurting yourself more. You know, the issue with people pleasing is it is bad because you're hurting the inside. You're empty. Your happiness is dependent on somebody else. They need to be smiling so that you can feel happy. It's like the way social media works, that if I take a good picture of me eating in an expensive hotel, I will only be happy if I get 1,000 likes. But if I get 2 likes, I'm not happy. That is the sad thing about people pleasing. You don't have power within your hands. But how God has created us is you have power within your hands, and you can determine whether you're happy or not. But people pleasing deprives you of your power and your freedom, and now you become a codependent. It is either people make me happy or I'll always be sad all the time. And there's nothing really you'll ever do that will make people happy for you all through. It is always you do this, they're not happy, they want something else. You do the other thing else, they're not also happy. You have, angered another person. So for me, people pleasing was never making me happy. But I was like, this is the way of life. And sometimes when pain becomes familiar, you see it as your way of life, and you convince your mind everybody else is also going through the same journey. So I need to move on. Most of the time we realize you are at a losing end when the rubber meets the road, if that is the word. You realize by there, after everything, you know, the way you start telling yourself, after all I've done for these people, this is this is the payback they're giving back to me. You know, people are talking trash about you, like the way you're always nagging, you don't help, you don't support. And they're saying at a point when you've given your all and really you've given your best. So I realize that these people are not even getting happy. Even when they have good opportunities that I can be able to, benefit from, they'll better give other people or say they don't have somebody to do it. So I realized, I don't have a way out. I had lost trust with my friends, and I had no other people. These are the only people I was pleasing, and now I don't have any person to depend on right now. And so there was no way out for me. It is either I gain the courage and I walk out of those friendships, and I hope that by time I'll be able to gain my strength and get back to myself. And so how I was able to get back is through professional help. Sometimes you just get one friend who wants to listen to your story. And I remember when I was calling some of the people I'm meeting new, I call somebody and then they're quiet, and I'm like, are you guys really listening? Because I'm not used to people listening to my story. And then later on they ask me, this is what you said, Derek. Do you remember? How do you feel? I was like, I never knew that me speaking will make somebody think that I'm so important, to the point that they can remind me what I said 3 or 4 minutes ago. So I was like, okay, I didn't know that people can care much about me. I didn't know that I can be vulnerable to say to somebody, by the way, mi sikuangi hivyo venye nasemaga. It's just because I want people to accept me. And they're like, it's okay. You know, the first one, some of us have struggled even way deeper than you're thinking. So realize there are people, there's always somebody who is like willing to help you. So my people pleasing was I get this one hand, which is sometimes very uncomfortable. You're not used to an environment where people listen to you. My environment is me listening to others, me consuming every garbage from everywhere, from other people. So I'm getting slowly uncomfortable, but I'm also reading a bit to be able to understand if this is the right thing. I realize the right thing, but I'm always uncomfortable, but slowly realize this is the right environment, this is the right atmosphere. Within time, you start to cultivate a people and a community of people who want to see you grow. They want to see you speak out. They want you to express your mind. They don't want you to be fearful. They want you to say it as it is without fear, so that you are empty from within. And that is the environment for me I cultivated. And slowly, it was not easy. Let me say, healing is not an easy journey. Sometimes we make it look like, stop this, don't do this. We make it simple, but it takes long. I'll say for more than 2 years. For me, it has been a journey. I decided to stop talking to the previous people who were dependent on me, who used to drain my energy. I all of a sudden started to avoid their calls. Sometimes I could give excuses, sorry, I was busy, I was at work. But I knew I was trying to avoid anything that will drain my energy and maintain an environment where people want to see me grow. I also want to see them grow. An environment where there is mutualism and growth for both parties. You know, people pleasing, the way unapigwa character development, hata dem unamkatia, ama madem mwenye unakuwa interested na wao, ni madem mostly hawakutaki. Una simp, una force to ish, ude mtu akutaki. But unajua try every other thing. Number one, unajua unampeleka hoteli yenye huwezi afford. Unajua tu kumake sure umefika level yake, akutaki. Hiyo hoteli unampeleka ni kujaribu tu kumwambia baki na mimi. Unacheki, akutaki. Unajaribu kumpeleka hivi, unacheki. So in the end umepush them karibu 2 years. Dem akutaki ama madem akutaki. Unapata umespendido. Unatafutanga udema na kwambia mimi niko busy, mimi niko na shughuli nini. Inakuuma saa zingine unacheki status una feel like hapa yenyewe mimi nachezwa. Unacheki the friends that unaweza pata uko na do, you're willing to give them wakitaji help, and then time unahitaji help they're not giving you any help. Ukicheck their status na nini wacheki walikuwa na have fun na you are in need. Honestly, you can imagine something like you need money to go to the hospital, but hawa say watambui, like they don't even remember what you told them. Every time they call you, they don't call you because they want to listen to you. They call me because they want me to listen to their beautiful journey, how their day was, and they don't mind how I'm doing. So me character development, imenichapa design yenye, every person who was within my cycle, ikuwe socially, at the workspace, these are people who were crushing me, and I was being crushed to the point there was no way for me. Ilikuwa tu ni, you are there to be used and not to progress. And that was generally my life, and I had to reach that level of there is no return. It's either you give up completely and take your life, or you get help. As I've come to learn personally in my experiences and even now in counseling, you attract who you are. If you're hurting inside, you'll attract people who are inside. If you have healed, you'll be quick to know somebody who is hurting. And it's either you will have lesser conversation with them, or you will completely avoid them. So first of all, I was coming from a point of I was hurting. My environment of childhood had only cultivated a person who will always be seeking validation. Kuambiwa, Derek umefanya kitu poa, ndo ni feel poa. Sijaezi ajiambia mimi mwenyewe by the today nimeachieve kitu fiti. Unless somebody tells me, Derek ni kitu fiti, that is when I'll feel good. And if they say otherwise, it will hurt me for days and days. So this is something I picked. Yes, my environment affected me as a kid, but now in my adulthood, it has become a part of me. It has become my new facade. And so, I am the one who is speaking people. The problem is when you're hurting inside, you will meet the right people and you'll see them as the bad people. And then you will chase them away. And you will meet the wrong people and you'll be like, this is my clique. I want them to be my close friends. And they will suck you. Because narcissists and those people who know how to suck you, they also know how to get their praise. They will look at you today, we have met in an event, we have met in church or whichever setup, and they'll be like this one, I'm going to use for my journey in the next couple of years until maybe they get to know or they don't even know. So that is how it happens. And sometimes it ends up in marriage. The people who get in marriage and 10 years down the line, they're like, I have 3 kids and this guy has messed me up, and sometimes difficult for you to get out of such situations. So yeah, that was my journey. I'll say it's my hurting journey that exposed me to the hurting people. Do I feel sorry for the people I hurt? I am a human, and I will be lying to say I have not hurt anybody. I've hurt so many people. And the trouble is sometimes when I share this story is, the even people who I met that were hurting, when I share this part of my story, they feel hurt because they're also hurting and they didn't know they're hurting. And sometimes they feel like I've attacked them, but I've not really attacked them. It is purely speaking from my own heart. So I always feel sorry. There are some who I approach and I apologize for hurting them the way I did. There are those, we disconnected, and for one reason or the other, we've never met again to discuss this. But the only thing I can do, the beauty about psychology, the only thing I can do is I can say sorry. Whether you choose to remain angry or not, I don't have a control. When I was a people pleaser, I will be okay until you feel comfortable. But when I healed, I realized, in as much as even if I've beat you, when I was beating you, I was out of my senses. That is one thing that was bad. I will come honestly apologize. If you choose to remain angry, that is something I don't have control over, and I can do nothing about it. I have to just move on and live my life. It might mean our friendship has ended, but that's okay. Friendships sometimes have short terms, long terms, and sometimes a lifetime, journey, and that is something I now consider. Have I healed? I have healed. I feel completely. The one thing about healing is when you stop remembering your cases with pain, when you feel lighter, when you speak about it, when you no longer cry about them. People think that you don't cry about it, but these are losses. When you lose a friendship, that is a loss. People think about losses only when it comes to death. When you lose, when you're mini fan of Man U, when my team loses, bana, sometimes hiyo kitu inaweza kuhurt the whole week, and then people are trolling you and memes and all this. So me, I've healed. There are many people who by design of God, they have also healed, that they were hurting at that time and we were friends, and they have come to heal. Some, my story has inspired them. Some, they also along the way got healing in their own process, and there are those who are still friends until today. And that is the beauty of life. I have forgiven any person who was, the trouble. When you start healing, immediately you start your journey of healing, you start cursing the people who are in your journey and you're using you. You're like, this person used me, this person will go to hell, and all these kind of things. But when you move to that, past the first phase of healing, you start to realize, wait, I was the one who was giving them power to use me. And then you start pointing the fingers at you slowly. I'm like, I could have done better. You, for a longer time, realize you judge yourself. After now, you come to the third phase. The third phase is now more than maturity stage, where you realize situations happen to make us better or worse. And you realize by there, that is the best they could do at that particular point. As I blame them, probably they were raised in that particular way. And it's not, to them, they're not even come to the realization they're going through these issues. So for me, I've healed. I don't hold grudges against myself. That is the most crucial thing. Because when you're attempting suicide, it means you are hurting yourself. I don't have any pain against myself. Number two, I don't hold any anger with people. And I've released that burden of being angry with people. I don't see people from that point of being angry. Actually, from work to home. You can imagine when you're at work, people can frustrate you so much. So I realize I am the one who has the power to choose to be angry or not. If you don't do something, I just tell you, by the way, you didn't do this. This is not good. But you should work on it if you want to improve. I don't have the power to control them to do it. I just have power to control how I think, how I work with them, and if really I want to work with them again, past that. Nobody will ever desire to be a people pleaser. You are quiet from environment. You can be brought up in the best environment. By best, I mean there was a parent who was affirming you, everything was right, they cultivated a spirit of believing in you. But when you're growing up, because of the dynamism, sometimes you go to school and then you happen to be the people who are showing love and care to you are people who want to suck your energy, Sometimes even in your adulthood phase, you can find yourself ending up slowly becoming a people pleaser. So environment plays a key role, whether you're a child or whether you are in your teenagehood or whether in your youthful age, even in your past youthful age, you can find yourself people pleasing. There could be maybe you desire to have money, or fame, or all these things. And then because you realize you need this thing, there is a friend of yours, so there is just a clique of group of men or women who, for you to get access to that place, you need to please them for you to get it. So you do this something for 2, 3, 4 years, it becomes a part of you that they suck you so much without you noticing that they're picking a part of you. The time you come to realize of it is when you're completely empty in your heart and you don't have anything to give to the world, So it's something you can get from whichever flank, whether you're a kid, whether you're adult, or whichever, sometimes can be in your career, you know, in your, when you're in a relationship. I mean, you've been desiring to be in a relationship, and then finally you get this person, I mean, the dream person you've always wanted. And then slowly, you didn't even realize they're narcissistic, for example. They start cutting off people who are within your circle. Slowly, they give you everything you want, but now they're love bombing you with whichever kind of materialism you wish, because they know that is the one thing you love. Without knowing, 2, 3, 4 years down the line, of course, you have all the materialistic thing you want, but you have lost yourself, you have lost your identity, and then you have lost a whole relationship with other people, and there's just no way out for you. Sometimes, you being a nice guy, you don't want to have conflict with people. You want to make them feel cool. If somebody has hurt you, don't hide, it's okay, it's nice. But when you leave that place, you start crying. Sometimes you tell other people, by the way, mtu alinikasirisha. You know, being nice, you want to entertain others. You are there to make them feel cool, you know. And nice, if I say come, you run faster, you come. Actually, for me as a nice person, mimi ningekuwa nafanya vitu zangu, but nipate phone call from a person niaje Derek, si kama uniokole aulize siko busy bro, nakuja saa hizi, and there's something urgent, you know, that I'm going to inconvenience myself, number one, and even the person who gave me that assignment. Naweza maliza assignment umeniitia, then mse mwingine anipigie simu niambie Derek, unaweza na kama saa hizi, naweza kuwa sina do, but being a people pleaser ndakopa do, niambie niaje bro, niko na kitu fulani inahitaji hapa do, unaweza nisaidia. It's not even my money that I need. Kuna msanii anahitaji do na si hata pesa. Inaweza kuwa ni demu mwenye udem akupendi, anataka tu kusumbua because anakuomba do because hakutambui. So I'm like, udem ndo anijue, by the way mimi nimefika bei, lazima nitafute mabeshte yangu niaje nitumie, nikicheki ni pesa mingi ndapigia a few other people so that I can get that money. That is a Mr. Nice. They fear trying new ideas and new ventures. You know, a nice guy fears that fear of failure. Nikijaribu hii hapa ndachoma, unacheki. Ama nikiwaambia hii idea, even in an office setup, nikiwaambia hii idea kuna venye inachoma. You just want to portray a particular character. You don't want them to see you as, for example, if you are working with you consider people intelligent, you don't want them to see any kind of foolishness in you. So even the way you speak, haujazoea kuongea English lakini you want to force. You know, kila time unge kizungu, haujazoea kuvaa type fulani, but you want to force, you know, to be somebody who you are not. You cross all your boundaries. For example, maybe your boundaries unajua genye, mimi ni mse introverted, I don't like to be in crowds so much of the time. But because you want to be a Mr. Nice guy, now you have these friends kila time wanakuambia, twende event, you have to go with them. Unarudi back home and then, I mean, you want to cry. You just want to lock the door and, you know, shed tears and just keep quiet and desire to shut your phone, but you can't again. I mean, the next day they're calling you, Derek, where are you? Come, join us. So Mr. Nice Guy completely drags you. You cannot, I mean, for a man, I mean, men suffer a lot being nice guys nowadays, you know, and women love to use nice guys. Let me use that phrase. They love nice guys when they want favors. Even in offices, unajua, if favor ndapata kwa Derek, najua ule chalia naoga mgumu. Chalia naoga mgumu, actually, that is the right attitude. Si ati ni mgumu because he respects his time, he respects his work, and unless amemaliza kazi yake, he cannot engage with you. But me, Mr. Nice, kwanza nakwambia, by the way, hasa najifanyaga wagumu, I'm coming, I got you, baby. I'm coming to help you. Unaacha kazi yako, unakama, unamsaidia nini. Kazi zako unamalizaga late. Unasikia hadi udema amefanya presentation, amepata sifa, anafanya kazi poa nini. Ni kazi ya Derek amefanya hiyo kazi, lakini kazi ya Derek yenyewe kazi ufala. Derek ana time ya kufanya kazi yake. Unacheki ikiwa home, your family members wakihitaji do, wanajuaga msee kupigia simu ni nani, ni Derek. Derek afanye kazi poa ati kwa all my brothers and sisters, but they know Derek ndo Mr. Nice Guy. Tukitaka do, tutamshtua. Akikataa kutupatia kidogo amekuwa na kiburi, we'll just tell him, you're forgetting your parents. You're forgetting that we're the ones who looked after you. After that guilt tripping of a bit of a second, I'm going to challenge that money. Whether I have it or not, I'll find a way to get money. Naweza kuwa na debts from all apps that gives people loan and all my friends because I'm pleasing other people. I can even stay hungry to just being a nice person. That the only beauty you find and the only joy you find in being nice is to deny myself anything good, but to let it out. I mean, if a naked man, it's an African quote, if a naked man offers you a cloth, should you take it? Yeah, I mean, it is not possible. We will consider the naked person as mad person, you know? And that is the sad reality about being a nice person. I speak from experience. I don't use necessarily statistics, but this is my own experience. The better part of my life, I've been a nice guy. And the only thing it has brought to me is lessons. That is the greatest I've gained from it, lessons and mockery and laughter. The people you give, they'll ask you one day, did I ask you to do all these things? When it was time for Valentine, did I really ask you to bring me flowers? Really? I remember one time I bought a lady a very... Nilikuwa nimesota, nimemaliza high school. Nimembuy pair ya viatu bana. Udem nilikuwa nimempenda sana. And then, alinitext baadaye akiniambia, I am a happy lady. My neighbor amenibuy a chocolate. She has never in her life ever acknowledged that I bought her a shoe. She has never told me thank you. You know the pain I felt? Mimi nimekubaia, nimeenda extra mile. Hiyo time chocolate ilikuwa sijui ni so. Mimi nimeenda extra mile na kubaia njumu. Viatu hiyo time nikaibu thao. And then, for you it's about neighbor amekubaia chocolate. I felt pain. I mean, my heart was heavy. And there are so many other examples. I mean, I look back and I laugh. And I mean, there were lessons. I'm always grateful that I'm still young. And those are the lessons that have given me the strength to be here today. And also to share my story and also to help those who are struggling with all these issues not to continue suffering. That there's a way out to regain ourselves, to regain our identity, to cancel all the things we were told that were negative about ourselves, and to just start afresh and say, this is who I am, this is who God created me to be, and this is the journey I want to forge ahead from today, because the power is from within that I can move forward. People pleasing and selflessness are two different things. Remember when I said people pleasing is validation. You know, you want people to see you can. You know, if I'm giving you 1,000, I'm giving you for you to see I can, you know. People are contributing 2,000, for example, in a group. Ya matanga ama ya squeeze ya dirasho to changa pesa, whichever. But because I want them to see I can, so that they can validate me, ndakopa nitoe 4,000. You know, selflessness comes from fulfillment because you just do. There are people naturally that I've met today that they find joy by serving others. That is their calling. That is how they were called. They don't expect you at the end of the day to give them back. A people pleaser expects you to give them back by being there for their life. That they expect tomorrow you still want to quote unquote love them. A selfless person does not necessarily need that. A selfless person can meet a chokora, give them food, and they will go. They don't need to meet the chokora tomorrow. The possibility of them meeting the chokora is almost zero, you know. For them it is, I was called to do this. This is a Mother Teresa kind of a person who loves it. They can even own nothing in their life, but any coin they get, they give, you know. Those are two different people. One is seeking validation. He has a hidden agenda in it. The other person, it is the way of life, and they just feel happy doing that way. Like a father who is feeding the child and, you know, their spouse and giving. It is the joy that comes with giving others. They don't expect necessarily to be loved back.